Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of How'd You Get So Sweet, where we hold space for Black women to share their stories, their joy, their rest, their resilience, and all the ways they cultivate sweetness in their lives. Today, I'm really excited because I feel like I say that every episode, but I really am excited for this one because I have my dear, dear cousin on this episode. And I put a call out. This is an example of when you ask for something and you get resounding yeses from people. It's a beautiful alignment. It's a beautiful confirmation that you are exactly where you're supposed to be and doing what you love and what you're supposed to be doing. So I say all that to say, hi, cousin.
Hi, cousin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really grateful to be here in this space with you today. So thank you for creating this opportunity. I also echo the call of, being in the right space at the right time and the right place with the right people for the right message and the right community. So thank you for creating all of those circles of rightness right now for us.
I like that. Circles of rightness. I'm going to use that in the future. That's beautiful. So tell me, when you saw me put the post out, what was your thought? What made you say, yes, I want to share my story?
Well, first of all, you're my cousin. And so that's very easy to say yes to anything that, you are doing, because I just really want to help to support and uplift that spiritual enlightenment. And I said yes to you in 2017 when I took that life-changing trip to Puerto Rico, when I needed to reconnect with myself and my roots and my spirit. And being on that island surrounded by the power of the ocean and nature, it really awakened something in me. I felt the presence of Yemaya, the Orisha of the sea, and the waves, and also the presence of Oshun, who is the goddess of the sweet waters and rivers. And just really that love and the embrace that the islands brought to me and helped me to really understand just what other ways to have rituals, to have practice, to have community. And for me, it was also really just wonderful and tender time of being with my family, who also has deep connections and that spiritual ancestor wisdom and healing. And being able to create rituals with my cousin and the communities that you had created there in Puerto Rico, I think is really what sparked me and said, of course I can say yes to this opportunity here to join you in another area of healing. So
I love
yes,
that.
thank you.
I love that. That actually, you reminded me. 2017, it feels like ages ago. And it was a while ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. And that is really a beautiful origin story to how arriving at a sweet life began, right? Like that is a part of my story. It's a part of your story. It's a part of many women's stories that, have decided to say yes to this. My question to you is, looking back from then to now, what does a sweet life look like for you?
Looking back from 2017 to now, there has been lots of navigations. I've been doing vision boards since 2016 and really embracing the power of the vision board and able to amplify my manifestations. And so in 2016, I was reimagining myself with a six-figure salary, imagining myself with financial stability that would allow me to move from the Bay Area to Los Angeles and then back to the Bay Area as well. Having that financial stability to live comfortably without the stress and struggle of a paycheck to paycheck. The sweet life, and my vision boards have helped me manifest personal health and well-being, including my mental health, my physical health, and my spiritual wellness. But, more, it's about cultivating a life of joy through these simple moments and fulfillment in both of my personal and professional life, and then being able to cultivate these connections that are loving and meaningful in the different relationships, the colleagues, and the businesses that I have helped to create since then as well, too. So, I think the sweet life has really been focusing on my vision boards, allowing those to help me create what that sweet life is to me by having a way to put my energy of abundance and prosperity and manifesting these different opportunities. Like I said, to create that joy in that everyday season of my life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you mentioned joy, because that seems to be the running theme of the stories that have been shared so far. Joy as resistance, joy, finding joy through challenges. How do you get or move from being in a challenging space to something that feels good, feels sweeter? And so, would you say that that resonates with you?
Definitely. I would say that there was a time when I thought my life was going to follow this very predictable path of marriage, family, and career. But life had other plans. And in 2008, I was blessed with the joy of giving birth to my second child, which was a moment that should have been filled with happiness. But days later, I was hit with the devastating news of a cancer diagnosis. And I felt that the universe had given me this incredibly joyful moment, and then also throwing me into a fierce battle for my life and battle for my soul at that point. And having that diagnosis, it really shook me to the core, but it also gave me a new profound perspective on life and what truly matters. And during my treatment, so in those fragile moments, I really redefined what joy looked like. Joy is being able to wake up in the mornings. Joy is having air in your lungs. Joy is being able to appreciate the way the sun feels on your skin. It's having, good health, recognizing, what's really true, what our true priorities are far more than material possessions that are there. And so, yeah, I think that incident, being able to be joyful also for the type of cancer that I had, and knowing that I had a cancer that required surgeries and not chemo, and so again, being able to find joy in the challenging moments.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do, but it's beautiful. I love when I hear us talk about how you can find the joy in the moments that most people would say there's joy is not there, it's not present. And we say this all the time, liken joy to sweetness, right? Because living a sweet life doesn't necessarily mean every day is going to be smooth sunshine and rainbows. But what it does mean is that sweetness shows up in even those challenging times, right? And so I love when I hear you say that, because that's exactly what we talk about. Having that sweet life means moving through even the challenging times with a little touch of sweetness.
One of the favorite things I like to say is my life is full of sunshine and glitter. That if you, and every day you can find some sunshine and glitter in your day. So that is how I kind of like to reimagine. I'm a big believer and student and philosopher of neuro-linguistic programming, and the words that we use shape our realities and help us manifest our best lives. And so if we can find a little sunshine and glitter throughout our day, it just adds that little touch of magic, and we're able to get into, that next moment.
Yeah, I love that. What are some practices that you have developed over time to keep you in that sunshine and glitters?
Okay, well, growing up, my grandmother used to call me the rock collector. And what that means is I'm really big into crystals. I've always been into crystals in terms of part of my daily rituals and practices. And so, just being able to dive deeper into using crystals as a healing modality, having stones like amethyst and rose quartz to support your emotional well-being, or grounding or protection or love. I really have developed this intuitive relationship with crystals. People will tell me something that's going on in their life, and I'll be like, oh, well, you might need, some black tourmaline, or maybe you need some green aventurine for luck as well, too. And so being able to help other people use crystals for their own energy and emotional blockages. And then also getting into chakra healings and just learning how to metaphysically reprogram myself through some of these challenges as well too. And so I started playing sound bowls during the pandemic. Everyone was getting into the things that they do, right? And so I started playing the sound bowls, and they, connecting the sound to your chakras really helped during that time increase my positivity and my creativity during a time when it was, very heavy emotionally. And then I started doing sound bowls online with my friends, and that turned into creating a community, an online community. Other ways is through my rituals and practices of Pilates and movement as well too, For me, moving your body and physical practices really helps to release those tensions and to help listen to your body and give your body what it needs. Another one of our cousins, my sister, she is the chief twerk whisperer. So sometimes even getting down and, twerking has been very therapeutic and is an ancient African practice as well, too, of moving that energy through. And, again, that was during the pandemic, that was online, we were a community. And so another ritual is just creating these communities and being able to spend time with friends and other spiritual practitioners that, can come together for these rituals for grounding, foundation, and support. So those are some of my daily practice and rituals that I use and have been using.
Yeah, the thing about community, we've been talking about this, because healing happens in community, right? And so there is this magic or this power. I don't know what the right word is for it just yet, but something about community that is instantly healing, right? Because sometimes we go into like these isolated spaces thinking that we have to work on ourselves and get ourselves together before we present to the world, before we step out the door. And that's not the case at all. What would be something that you would tell someone who was looking for their tribe, looking for their people?
Well, that is a really great question. I would say to be intentional about what you're seeking, that there are communities that are out there, and you just be intentional and listen to spirit as you are finding them. I think that, this opportunity to be here and talking with you today is a manifestation of an intentional desire that I had to create and share more with, my passions with a larger community, and, the importance of creating those spaces where people can come together and to reconnect with themselves. As I said, I have, started this business with Bay Love Soul. And one of the things that I like to do is, leading these sound healing sessions. And sound healing is is becoming more and more popular. But you can see through, a sound healing session, you meet other people that are there to release their stress, connect with themselves, vibe, find a tribe, and just have, a deeper sense of connection. And you can find that on Eventbrite, in different sacred spaces on Eventbrite. I think if it's women that are looking to hold circles, find other women and other groups that are into sharing stories and affirmations and can support you as well. If you're a local artist or healer, if you like music and movement, there's communities there that you can blend your art, your healing, your movement. All of these things can come together. And so I really feel like if you're intentional with what you're seeking, then you can find those communities as well, too.
Yeah, that's a good one. I completely forgot about Eventbrite. I haven't been on Eventbrite in a long time, but it is still a really great tool to find things happening. Man, that's a good one. Thank you for that. So tell me a little bit about Bay Love Soul.
All right. Well, yeah. So as I had mentioned, Bay Love Soul was birthed during the pandemic with a good friend of mine. Her name was Liza. And, it really came out of creating these sacred spaces. I have 4 other friends, and we call ourselves the goddesses, the goddess gatherings. And so we were gathering, in person in 2019, 2020. 2020 is the shutdown. And so we took our sacred spaces. The goddesses are also the women I'd make my vision boards with. And we brought that to our online community. And so we would, pull our angel cards online and do our manifestations. We would share our intentions, setting our individual spaces with sage, Palo Santo, incense, and really developing, a sacred space, but an online space. And so once the pandemic lifted, Liza and I put our energies into creating this business, this Bay Love Soul business, where we can do that, where we can continue to help to gather people together, lead women's circles. So we have our goddess gatherings. Those are our women's circles. We also lead gatherings that are just sacred gatherings that are co-ed, that bring people together. She and I both play our sound bowls. We have the other instruments like wave drums and chimes that we use. We have our movements. And so we do gentle yoga, gentle Pilates. Liza is a Reiki healer, so she'll do some Reiki healing. I will move people through their chakras, and we do some chakras affirmation and chakra balancing as well too. We use our singing bowls, chanting. It really is a ritual space community that we create for people so that they can come and gather and embrace. And we're kind of starting out in our infantile first year, but really seeing how this community is helping to shape people's lives here in the Bay Area. And we do it on a sliding scale because we both are very committed to making sure that healing is not something that is for the privileged, but that's open for everyone. And so we have a sliding scale business, and you can find our events on Eventbrite as well too. Just, as a way to reach larger communities and try to branch out from other communities that may not know about us.
Yeah. I'm glad that you said the piece about it being on a sliding scale so that it's not looked at as like something of privilege. We were talking about this a while on one of the last interviews that I did about how sometimes self-care or these types of events are looked at as a luxury, right? Like, oh, it's a nice to have. And so I love that you're offering it in a way that can be really accessible, because I think sometimes people just need it to be a little easier to do just to get the experience. And then from there, who knows what happens. But I love that because it's not a luxury. It's not a privilege, right? Everyone deserves healing. Everyone deserves community. Everyone deserves to be in a space that feels good, feels safe, caters to them, pours into them, centers them, all of the things, right? And so congratulations, cousin.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm also, as I'm creating these spaces, I'm also part of these spaces as well too. And so a community that I have found is the Mind, Body, and Soul. They are a fitness community for women of color and started by a group of sisters. And they are biracial sisters, Filipino, Black. So shout out to Chris and Kelly. I just want to say thank you that they have created a space where women of color can come together, work out, have that ritual of movement, have that ritual of community and that safe space, that sacred space, and really, promoting mental and physical health here as well too. So I do want to give them a shout out, and also say thank you so much to Coach Stephanie, who has changed my life through her Pilates practices. As I said, I really am into Pilates, doing mat Pilates at home with a YouTube video with women that didn't always look like me, and to now be part of the space with a instructor who looks like me, who is a mother as well too, who has her day-to-day trials and tribulations and shows up with great energy. She and I have actually collaborated a few times and are trying to bring more healing. So she will do Pilates and I play the sound bowls as a way to bring healing to our gym community as well too. And again, I don't charge for those services because I want the sound healing to be a part of their daily modality and rituals as well too. So again, just want to shout out to the MBS lab for all that they've given me and allowed me to give back through my gifts of healing as well too.
Listen, I've been trying to fall in love with Pilates for years, okay? I'm not there yet, but I feel like it's something that I would love once I get into a groove of it. This was years ago, and I was in LA actually visiting my best friend. Her and I went to a Pilates class, but one of the Pilates classes that you have to use those machines.
The reformers?
Yeah. Listen, if you had been a fly on the wall, it should have been recorded because both her and I were struggling with these machines. And the instructor was just like, come on, y'all, let's get it. And we looked at each other and I was like, what did you get me into? Ever since then, nope, it hasn't been for me. But I want to try it again. I do want to try it again.
It's all about the instructor as well, too. And, I'm doing mat Pilates with Coach Steve. And so Coach Steve, it really is about my body versus my body. What can I do? Mind over matter, mindset. In the beginning, I had resistance as well, too. Like, oh, I don't think I can do this. but the way that the instructor has been able to move this confidence through my body as well, too, and, help me learn to be more confident in my movements, more intentional in these movements as well, too, has just been very joyful, and uplifting as well. Because, yeah, when you get older, it's a move it or lose it type of thing,
That's real. That is real. Some days my joints are like, girl, what is happening? We need a little bit more movement in our lives. So, okay, I'm going to try it again because you seem so excited about it. It's making me want to try again and do a little Pilates. I'm going to try.
Thank you.
So, we like to ask our guests to bring an excerpt from a book or a poem that they feel really inspired, that resonates with them around their sweet life, that guides them. And we ask them to share with us. And so you brought a good one today.
Thank you. Yes. As I said, my life is a series of daily rituals and daily practices, whether it be spiritual practices in terms of, my journaling, my connection to God and the universe, my connection to my inherent divine femininity. If I'm using my crystals, if I'm doing breath work, sound healing, everything is a daily, as I said, life is full of daily rituals. And so I'm going to read an excerpt from The Spirit of Intimacy, The Ancient African Teachings and the Ways of Relationships by Sabon Fumsome. And a quick little shout out. My mother did some really great African village work with Sabon Fu when she was here on this earth. And so it's just important for me to be able to say her name and share her wisdom with you today. So thank you for this. And so there are personal rituals, community rituals, maintenance rituals, and radical rituals. Every time you want to move into a ritual, you need to recognize that there's a whole line of ancestors behind you. There's a whole spirit world around you. There's animals in this world. There's the ground world, the tree worlds, and so forth. If you have a way of saying to these forces, come and be with us in such a way that we can feel and do such and such, then you are already in ritual. And so I just want to say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. You're already in ritual. Listen, I'm a ritual girl, okay? I love that. You're already in ritual. That's a beautiful reminder. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I think what happens is that, we don't take time to pause enough to listen, and we can miss it. And it really is the pausing, the resting, the joy in the middle of those moments that makes life sweet, that turns life into this sweet ritual that we can practice on a daily.
Ooh. This was a good conversation. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us today. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you. So tell the people, how can they be connected with you?
You can connect with me at baylovesoul.com. That is my business page, baylovesoul.com. You can connect with me on Instagram if you want to. I have a very long name. It is La Mera Mera, XOXO. And just for my non-Spanish speakers, Mera Mera, or La Mera Mera means the woman that got it going on. So my Instagram handle is La Mera Mera, XOXO. You can find me there as well, too. You can also look up Bay Love Soul on Instagram and follow my Instagram page, and I will be following you back on my personal page.
I love it. Well, listen, thank you. Thank you, Mera. If you enjoyed this episode, if you want to know more about ritual, follow us, like us, subscribe. And if you want to join and share your story about how you got so sweet, we'd love to hear that as well. Until next time, may your days be filled with ease, joy, and just the right amount of sweetness.